Welcome back to Inherited Dawn, a One Piece podcast.
This week we are covering Chapter 114, The Course.
And what a course it is. We just met the actual vice president of a secret criminal empire on our own ship, and Luffy basically looked her in the eye and broke her entire plan over his knee.
He didn't just break her plan, Franky. He rejected the very idea that she or anyone else gets to tell him which path to take, even if the other path is certain death.
It's one of the realest things he's ever done. If you want to make sure you're on board every single time this crew defines what it means to be free, maybe consider charting a course to our subscribe button. You don't want to get left behind at the docks.
Let's get into it. The chapter picks up in pure chaos. Igaram's ship has just exploded in a fireball.
And it's not a small explosion either. Oda draws this as a massive, definitive blast. It's a huge panel, all black ink and white fire, swallowing the ship whole. There's no ambiguity here. From every character's perspective, Igaram, the loyal guard who just entrusted his princess to a bunch of pirates, is gone. It's a gut punch to start the chapter.
The finality of that image is what sells the tension, and Luffy's reaction is pure Luffy. No time to explain, just time for action. He grabs Usopp by the nose and Sanji by the leg and just drags them full speed out of the bar they were sleeping in. It's the rudest awakening imaginable.
Can we talk about that for a second? The pure disrespect of grabbing a man by his prized nose, Usopp's most prominent feature, and Sanji just gets dragged by the ankle like a sack of potatoes. Luffy's not thinking about their comfort or their dignity, he's thinking threat, ship, go. It's his captain mode distilled to its most primitive and honestly most effective form.
It's a perfect example of Oda's tone, as we mentioned. The situation is deadly serious. A friend was just seemingly assassinated, but the immediate execution is slapstick. This tonal whiplash is a signature of the series. It prevents the story from becoming relentlessly grim, while never undermining the stakes. We understand the danger is real, even as we're laughing at Usopp's face being stretched out.
While Luffy's playing wake-up duty, Zoro already has the Going Merry prepped to sail. Of course he does. That's our first mate. He's always the first one to understand the gravity of the situation and get the escape route ready. He wasn't at the party, he wasn't sleeping. He was on the ship, on watch, doing his job.
This is a consistent character trait for Zoro. He embodies the discipline that Luffy often lacks. In Logtown, when they were trapped, Zoro was the one ready to face the consequences. After his defeat by Mihawk, he made a promise not just to never lose, but to be the rock that the future king of the pirates can rely on. This is him living up to that promise. He heard the explosion, assessed the threat, and prepared the only way out. He is the crew's anchor in a storm.
Exactly. Luffy is the chaotic forward momentum, and Zoro is the unwavering foundation that makes that momentum possible. Super functional relationship.
Everyone gathers at the ship, but Vivi is panicking. She's looking around for Karoo, convinced he's been left behind in the chaos.
You feel for her so much in that moment. Her entire 2-year mission has just blown up in her face. She's just lost Igaram, her father figure and last connection to the Royal Guard. Her whole world is collapsing, and now she thinks her best friend, her ride-or-die duck, is gone too. It's the straw that's about to break the camel's back.
Karoo is more than just a pet. He is a direct, living link to her home and her identity as a princess. Losing him would be like losing the last piece of alabaster she has with her.
But then we find out Karoo is already on the ship. He apparently climbed aboard before even Zoro did.
Which, when you consider Zoro's level of preparedness, is an incredible feat.
That duck has better survival instincts than half the characters in this series. He knew, he felt the danger and got to safety. That's a real member of the super spot-build duck squad right there.
He's part of the crew. He's not just baggage, he's an asset. The little guy has observation hockey, I'm calling it now, duck hockey.
As they're getting ready to sail, we see a figure emerge from the flames of Igaram's ship. It's just a silhouette, but it's incredibly ominous. Oda frames it perfectly. The crew is in the foreground, scrambling and panicking, and in the background, this calm, composed figure just stands there, unbothered by the inferno. Yeah, and the crew doesn't even see it yet. They're dealing with their own internal problems. Sanji and Usopp are furious. They have no idea what's going on. They just know they were having a great time at a party, probably getting free drinks, and now they're being dragged away from paradise. You can't even blame them for being mad. From their perspective, Luffy's just being a maniac again.
And Nami, ever the pragmatist, explains the entire situation to them with a solid conch on each of their heads.
The Nami Fist of Education. It's more effective than any textbook. One hit and suddenly they get it. We are running for our lives. Got it. It's hilarious, but it's also her love language. It's a violent, percussive way of saying, pay attention, you idiots. I need you alive.
It's also the quickest way to cut through their groggy complaints and focus them on the present danger. Nami doesn't have time for a lengthy explanation. She needs them to understand the stakes immediately, and a punch to the head is the most direct form of communication available.
It's only once they're out on the water, sailing away from the chaos of Whisky Peak, that they realize they have a stowaway.
The panels here are excellent. Just this lone figure standing on the stern of the Mary with her back to them. The wind is blowing her coat, the moon is out. It's a beautiful, terrifying shot.
And it's her, the figure from the flames, just standing on their deck like she owns the place. The absolute nerve. It's a complete violation. The Going Merry is their home, their sanctuary, and this stranger is just there.
Her name, we learn, is Miss All Sunday, and she's the one who blew up Igaram's ship.
She doesn't just get discovered, she announces it. She's Crocodile's direct partner, the vice president of Baroque Works, the number 2 of the whole organization they're trying to take down. It's an insane power move. It's like finding out the vice president of the world government is just chilling in your kitchen making coffee.
This is the moment the true scope of their enemy becomes clear. They weren't just fighting bounty hunters like Mr. 5 or Mr. 9. They've stumbled into a conflict with a powerful clandestine organization, and its second in command is now standing on their ship. The power levels have just been completely redefined.
And she's just messing with them. She's so casual about it. Oh yeah, I blew up your friend. By the way, I'm the mastermind's right hand. The psychological warfare is on another level. She's not shouting or making threats. Her weapon is information, delivered with a calm, unnerving smile.
It gets worse. Vivi explains that they only learned Crocodile's identity by tracking Miss All Sunday. The entire infiltration, their one success, hinged on this fact. And Miss All Sunday just calmly replies that she knew. She let her follow her.
Bro, that is cold. So all that work, all that risk Vivi and Igaram took for 2 years was just part of Miss All Sunday's game? She was a puppet master, letting them think they were winning. She dangled the thread of hope in front of them, knowing she could cut it at any time. The sheer cruelty of that is staggering.
It retroactively reframes Vivi's entire struggle. What we thought was a story of espionage and rebellion was actually a tragedy directed by the very person she was investigating. It implies she was the one who leaked Vivi's identity to Crocodile. She set this entire tragedy in motion, seemingly for her own amusement.
She even says she helped Vivi because the princess worked so hard, but that her plan to fight back is stupid. She's not just an enemy, she's condescending. She sees their struggle for freedom as a child's game. It's the ultimate dismissal of their pain and their goals. She's patting Vivi on the head while holding the knife that stabbed her in the back.
This is where the crew's protective instincts kick in. The conversation gets heated, and even without fully understanding the situation, Sanji and Usopp are ready to fight.
That's what I love. They might have been confused 2 minutes ago, but they see their friends, Vivi and Nami, are threatened, and that's all they need to know. The switch flips. Sanji has a gun out. Usopp has his slingshot aimed. They're ready to throw down for their Nakama. This is the Straw Hat way. You don't need the full backstory. You just need to know who's on your side.
And Miss All Sunday, completely surrounded by a crew that has taken down men like Arlong and Krieg, shows just how outclassed they are.
It's not even a fight. She doesn't move. She doesn't even flinch. She just uses her devil fruit power and hands sprout out of their bodies to flip them over. Just like that. Neutralized.
The shock on everyone's face says it all. What is this power? How can you fight someone who can make your own body betray you? The art here is fantastic. The little puffs of smoke where the arms appear, like they're literally blooming out of their clothes. It's surreal and deeply unsettling.
It's the first time we've seen a power that feels genuinely wrong. It's unnerving. It's not about punching or cutting or explosions. It's about total, effortless control. Luffy's power stretches his own body. Buggy's separates his own body. This power violates the bodies of others. Oda is showing us a new ceiling for what devil fruits can do, and it is terrifying.
Whatever this power is, its nature is a misdirection. There is nothing beautiful or gentle about this application of its power. It's a power that bypasses conventional strength and durability entirely. You can be the strongest man in the world, but if she can sprout a hand on your back to snap your spine, your strength is irrelevant.
And to add the ultimate insult to injury, after demonstrating this horrifying power, she casually reaches out and takes Luffy's straw hat.
A calculated move. She has just shown she can physically dominate them. Now she's moving to psychological domination.
Don't you dare touch the hat. That is the single most sacred rule. We've seen it established since chapter 1. The hat is more than a hat. It's the promise to Shanks. It's the symbol of Luffy's entire dream. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's not just disarming them physically. She's trying to disarm them symbolically. She's holding his soul in her hand and inspecting it like a curiosity.
She holds it while explaining their situation. Their log post is now pointing to a place called Little Garden, an island so notoriously dangerous that Baroque Works doesn't even need to bother setting a trap for them there. The island itself will kill them.
So she's laying it all out. You are sailing to your doom. Your path is set, and it leads to your death. I have already won. She's not just trying to kill them, she's trying to make them despair. She wants them to feel completely and utterly helpless.
But then she offers them an out. She produces an eternal post, a special compass that points to a single different island forever, a way to skip Little Garden entirely. It's supposedly a much safer route.
The ultimate temptation. Here's a get-out-of-jail-free card, a safe route. All you have to do is take it from the person who just tried to kill your friend and mocking your entire quest. It's a poisoned gift, but man, it looks really appealing when the alternative is certain death.
She even adds that it might be a trap. She's playing with their minds. Is she helping them? Is she leading them to an even worse fate? The uncertainty is the point. She wants to see them paralyzed by doubt. She is attacking the very foundation of the crew, the captain's ability to choose their course.
And Nami, the navigator, the logical one, is screaming at Luffy to take it, and you can't fault her for it. Her entire job is risk assessment. She sees the board. She knows that a potential trap on some unknown safer island is a better bet than the certain death of a legendary monster-filled island. She's trying to keep her crew alive, and this is the only logical move.
This is a brilliant moment of internal crew conflict. Nami's pragmatism versus Luffy's idealism. Both are trying to protect the crew, but from fundamentally different philosophical standpoints. Nami wants to protect their lives. Luffy wants to protect their freedom.
But Luffy doesn't play chess. He sees the person, not the board. He takes the eternal pose from her and crushes it in his fist, glass shattering, the needle spinning uselessly, and he just says, "You don't get to decide where we go."
It is such a powerful moment. The sound effect for the crush takes up the whole panel. It's a definitive statement. This single action is the entire thesis of his character. Freedom isn't about choosing the safe path or the smart path. It's about choosing your own path, no matter how dangerous.
Super! That's it. That is the moment. He will sail into the mouth of hell itself before he lets an enemy dictate his journey. He's not a pirate so he can be safe. He's a pirate so he can be free. To accept her offer would be to admit defeat. It would be an admission that she has power over him, over his journey, and he will never, ever concede that.
And he gives a second reason, which is just as important, and perhaps more revealing. He tells her he did it because he doesn't like her.
That's the emotional core of it. It's the simple, pure, uncut Luffy logic. You hurt people I care about. You stand for everything I'm against. Your entire vibe is just bad, so I will never, ever accept a thing from you. It's so simple, so direct, and she has no answer for it. He's not arguing strategy or morality. He's making a judgment of character.
For the first time, Miss All Sunday looks genuinely surprised. Her calm, condescending facade breaks. She's used to dealing with schemes, fear, ambition, and logic. She doesn't know how to process pure, uncomplicated defiance rooted in personal feeling. He's not a piece on her board. He's a force of nature that just knocked a whole table over.
Luffy just broke her brain. She thought she was in control, that she held all the cards, but you can't control someone who refuses to play your game. He didn't just choose a different move, he rejected the game itself.
She hands his hat back, a small gesture of something, respect, acknowledgement. It's a concession. She tried to take his symbol, and he proved he was worthy of it, so she returns it. The psychological battle is over, and he won. Then she leaves on her giant turtle, Banshee.
A giant turtle with like a little house on its back and a propeller. Of course that's how she gets around. It's perfectly bizarrely her. After this incredibly tense, dramatic, philosophical showdown, she just sails away on the most ridiculous animal vehicle hybrid we've seen yet. It's Oda reminding us that no matter how serious things get, this is still the world of One Piece, and it is fundamentally weird.
The immediate danger is over. The crew is left on the deck of the Mary, sailing towards the deadly island they chose. The weight of Luffy's decision hangs in the air.
And now they finally have a moment to breathe and properly fill in Sanji and Usopp on who Vivi is, what Baroque Works is, and what the stakes are. We get that quiet scene of Vivi explaining everything, and you see the looks on their faces change. The anger and confusion are gone, replaced by a steely resolve. Now they get it. This isn't just a random adventure anymore. This is a rescue mission for their friend and her entire country.
The arc ends on such a quiet, strange note. After all that tension, all that life or death drama, Luffy is just lying on the sheep's head of the Going Merry. Nami is still reeling from his decision, Vivi is contemplating the future, and Luffy just looks out at the sky and wonders if it's going to snow again.
Back to the adventure. The crisis is handled, the course is set, the decision is made. For him, it's over. He doesn't dwell on it. He's already looking forward. He's thinking about the next cool thing he might see. It's perfect. He lives completely in the moment. What a chapter. It strips away all the side quests and establishes the true central conflict of the Alabasta saga.
It really does. The end of one small story, the Whisky Peak bounty hunter farce, and the beginning of a much, much larger one against a Shichibukai.
Alright, before we get into what's next, if you think Luffy crushing that Eternal pose was the right call, let us know why in the comments. Or, hey, if you think Nami had the right idea and Luffy is just a reckless fool, we want to hear that too. That's what this is all about.
Indeed. Now, predictions for Chapter 115. Franky, you first.
Okay, prediction 1. Igaram is not dead. In One Piece, if you don't see the body, they're not gone. That explosion was big, but it felt like a classic fake-out. He's going to show up again, probably in Alabasta, right when Vivi needs him the most.
A classic trope, but one Oda uses well. I can see that.
Prediction 2. We're absolutely meeting Mr. 3 and Miss Golden Week on Little Garden. They were mentioned a while back as being on a long-term mission. A dangerous island that the organization avoids seems like the perfect place to stick some of your more eccentric agents. Their weird art-based powers would fit a strange island.
A very logical conclusion. We've been waiting for them to appear.
And finally, that line from Luffy about the snow wasn't just a random thought. The weather is going to be a huge factor on Little Garden. Not just snow, but extreme, unpredictable climate shifts that the crew will have to navigate on top of whatever creatures live there.
An environmental challenge. I like it. My turn.
Lay it on me, lore brain.
Prediction 1. Little Garden's name is deeply ironic. It's not small and it's no garden. Given the ancient island vibe, I believe it's going to be a land of giants and dinosaurs, a place where time has stood still.
I would love to see that. Luffy trying to make friends with a T-Rex. Let's go.
Prediction 2. Miss All Sunday's offer wasn't a trap, nor was it a genuine attempt to help. It was a test. She's bored with Crocodile's methodical plan. She is searching for someone or something who can actually disrupt the world. Luffy just passed her test, and now she will be watching him not as an enemy to be destroyed, but as an agent of chaos she finds fascinating.
So she's not trying to stop them, she's trying to see how big of a mess they can make? Bro, that is a terrifying thought.
Indeed. Now, my final prediction connects to her. We will get a clue about her true motives. Not the whole story, but a small hint that she has a goal completely separate from crocodiles. She might find some kind of ancient stone or historical artifact on Little Garden that she's been looking for, and it will be the first thread we can pull on to unravel her real story.
I like that. She's too smart, too capable to just be someone's number 2. There's a whole other game being played.
Precisely, and the Straw Hats just stumbled right into the middle of it.